Hi guys, this is Ashley, personal trainer and weight loss coach. Today we are going to be talking about mindfulness, especially when it comes to mindfully eating. So this is a really important topic, I felt, because a lot of studies have shown that this is actually one of the best ways to lose weight. It's not a strict diet like doing a keto or some low carb diet where you have rules to follow or cutting out sugar entirely. It is mindful eating. So let's talk a little bit about it, and let's start by getting into what mindfulness is. Mindfulness, as defined by the dictionary, is basically an awareness. Being present, being aware of emotional states, thought processes, aware of your own thoughts, your own feelings, things like this. So when it comes to eating mindfully, what we're talking about is being very mindful in regards to our eating, being present when we eat and being aware of how we're eating, aware of the nutrition, aware of our health, thinking about things like this. Well, this is all pretty easy to say, but if you've Googled this for even 5 minutes, you probably know what I just said. You're probably wondering, like, how does this actually play out in real life? What does this actually look like? So let's get into what mindfulness looks like. Really what it means is when you eat, when you sit down to have a meal, you're going to approach it mindfully, being that you are going to consider your health when considering this meal. You're not going to go to Chipotle and just kind of throw everything together and get whatever the heck you want because you felt like having extra guac and you felt like having this and that, but you're going to think about it and you're going to say, when I eat rice, does that make me feel good? Should I add that to the bowl because that's fueling me and I need carbs today? Or do I react well with carbs like rice? Or do I have a hard time digesting rice or beans? And if beans sometimes give me bloat or gas, maybe I should skip them here in the Chipotle line. Things like that. It's being mindful. That in itself, that decision-making process of saying, hey, is this healthy for me? Is it good for me? Not necessarily does this fall into the rules of my diet, but what works for my body, for me. And if you follow that system, that would be considered eating mindfully. So just being very aware as you choose your meals. Other things that are part of mindful eating, again, what it looks like is it looks like eating slowly and being very present when you have your meals. Typically for mindful eating, it's usually encouraged to not be on your phone, watching Netflix, watching TV while you're eating. You want to make sure that you go slow, really chew your food well. Think about each bite as you're chewing it, thinking about the protein and, if you're making good healthy choices and how this is nourishing your body, being aware of the texture, the taste, oh, this is particularly crispy today or whatever. These kind of things are heightening the awareness and the presentness, if that's a word, of the experience of eating. And you should approach your meals with a gratitude and a fulfillment. You should feel like, I'm thankful that I have this meal. I'm grateful that I have the opportunity to have these healthy fats or to have this lunch, to have whatever it is I'm eating, and to be grateful about it, to be very mindful and aware of the whole process. Thankful that someone cooked it and prepared it for you, or thankful that you have the ability to make your own meals and make it just how you like it. These sort of thoughts, this sort of process is part of mindful eating. The next point is really, we kind of mentioned it before, but part of mindful eating is to listen to your body. So that can seem really funny sometimes to think about listening to your body, because your body might just say, hey, I want nothing but candy all day, every day. So we don't want to listen to our body like that. But we do want to listen to our body in terms of realizing how certain foods affect us, realizing if certain foods are good for us or better for us, realizing if something is serving you and benefiting you, or if something is holding you back. So being very aware of what your body needs, I would say, instead of just listening to your body as in listening to cravings, but more being aware of how foods affect you and how you react. When you have too much caffeine, do you become really grumpy and agitated and you don't sleep well? So maybe you should cut back to only 1 cup of coffee. Things like that would be part of mindful eating, part of that awareness. So when I say listen to your body, I mean more like that, less like eat all the candy you can. People that engage in mindful eating are usually working on their relationship with food. Some people can be triggered by certain things. Some people stress eat. Some people emotionally eat. These are super common. A lot of people do. So if you do, it's okay. That's part of life, and we're just working on becoming better. And mindful eating has been shown to help people that stress eat, that emotionally eat, things like this, because it's not giving you a big old list of rules, which can take a toxic relationship with food and further that toxicity, where people can get really hung up on the calories and the macros and become obsessed with it. Mindful eating kind of takes a step back. You don't have that obsession factor. You don't have numbers you're tracking, things like that. That way, if you already have a bad relationship with food, we don't take it and make it worse. This allows you to eat pretty much what you want to eat, considering your body and what's working for you and what's helping you. If you notice that, last week you cut out bread for a little while and you lost a pound and that made you feel happy, you didn't miss it in your life, you're not guilt tripping yourself over the fact that you couldn't have a sandwich or something, then that might be a good move for you. Part of mindful eating would be on the other side, if you cut something out and you notice that maybe you didn't lose weight, or maybe you did, but the stress and the guilt you felt and the frustration wasn't worth it, then you also need to be aware of that and make adjustments as you go. So it's a very sort of as you go tailoring approach, but definitely following the steps of being present for each meal has been shown to help with weight loss. There's been a few different studies done. Well, really, there's been quite a lot, but two in particular that I looked at. One that was over a 6-week period in which people lost 9 pounds. The other one was over, I want to say, a 26-week period, and people lost, no, was it 26 weeks and 26 pounds? It can't be that. And then there was another study that was done for 6 months, and that one, the average weight loss was about 26 pounds. And all the people did was participate in mindful eating. So every meal being very aware, very present, eating with purpose, slowly savoring the food, being conscious, and really making good decisions about their meals based on what's healthy for them. So that's pretty awesome. But on top of that, what they found was in the mindfulness study, again, so they had 6 months, people eating mindfully, they lost 26 pounds. They tested those same people 3 months later, and none of them had gained the weight back or even gained weight. They were all maintaining. So that's a great sign, because we know we don't just want to lose the weight, do some diet, some crazy exercise and lose it for a weekend, and then you totally put it back on next month, 2 months later. You want to make sure that you keep it off. So mindfulness is proving to be a great option for some people. So definitely it's something you should consider if you're on a weight loss journey and maybe you've been doing a bunch of strict diets, which you can definitely burn out from. You can develop a very toxic relationship with food. And if you're starting to feel like maybe you're going that way, mindful eating might be something you should consider. So I'm going to give a very quick how-to in terms of how to start eating mindfully. So this is really simple. There's, of course, you can get more into this than where I'm going today. But the first thing we want to do is make sure that your meals are balanced and that you have variety. Some people will say, I'm mindfully eating and I'm just going to have like salad every day, oatmeal for breakfast, and like that's it. That is not mindfully eating. That would be part of that strict diet type lifestyle, and that's not what this is about. Mindful eating, you want to live your life very naturally, but just making healthy decisions, things that work for you. You want to have balance, you want to have lots of variety so that you are properly getting the right nutrition, okay? This will also prevent you from, eating Skittles because I listened to my body and I said I should just have a big bag of Skittles for lunch. No, because that's not going to work here. We need to have a variety of things and balance in our life. If you want to have a little fun-sized Skittles for a special treat, when you're really feeling some way and you're not connecting it to a reward for your emotions, or you're eating it because of stress, you're going to be aware of all of these things, and that's part of it. So you're going to have to make sure that before you eat, you kind of do a check-in with yourself. Am I really hungry? Am I bored? Let's get into that. So your first step, you want to make sure you're balanced. Got into my second point. The second point is you need to really check in with yourself. In order to begin eating mindfully, you really need to take some time to say, what am I feeling today? Am I super stressed out? Am I about to start my cycle? Am I really emotional for whatever reason? Just check in with yourself, what's going on. See if you are really hungry before you eat. Mindful eating really encourages that you actually be hungry when you eat, that you're not eating out of boredom, out of loneliness, out of stress, but you're eating because like the stomach is starting to growl, you're actually showing signs of hunger. In this case, then go ahead and eat something, but if you're just filling in the time by grazing and snacking, that's not mindfully eating. So you want to check in with yourself often. Make sure you're drinking water to see if maybe you're thirsty and not really hungry. See if you actually want to eat something, or if you just want to eat something because you're mad at whatever happened earlier in the day and you think that that's going to make you feel better. We want to make sure we're not turning to food to solve our problems, because dinner isn't going to fix problems. Dinner isn't going to change your circumstances or really improve your emotional well-being much. But actually dealing with your issues, dealing with what happened, finding other ways to reduce stress and manage your life will be beneficial to you, not relying on a sandwich or a candy bar or whatever to help. So make sure you're not relying on food in a way that food cannot actually nourish you. Another thing about eating mindfully is that this is going to take some strategy. So you don't want to be stressed out, and let's say that when you're stressed, you usually like to eat chocolate. I'm using myself as an example. So if you usually like to eat chocolate like me when you're super stressed out, then what will happen is when you have something happen in your life, you're going to default into that pattern because that is your pattern of behavior. What's important is to have a strategy in place that you now know, hey, when I'm stressed out, instead of doing that, I'm going to maybe meditate or drink some water, go for a walk, do something else, whatever. Find a replacement behavior so that way you're not falling into your old patterns. This brings me into the fourth part of how to eat mindfully. The fourth thing is, do not guilt yourself. If you fall off the wagon, you fall into an old pattern of behavior, you don't follow the rules of eating mindfully, you don't do it right, you mess up some way, don't go around feeling guilty, beating yourself up, things like this. That's not helping anyone, and it's not part of the mindful eating. We want to make sure that we're in a place of gratitude, a place of learning, a place of openness, not guilt, shame, condemnation, feeling horrible about every little choice that we make. That is not fulfilling. That's not helping you. It's not helping you to lose weight. It's not helping you to grow. It's not helping you to be better in any way or form. Guilt is not a necessary part of moving forward in life. So cut it out. Let it go. If you end up eating the Skittles, eating the chocolate, having the sandwich, it is not the end of the world. And recognizing that is also a part of the mindfulness of eating. To recognize that, okay, I ate that. Now I'm feeling this sugar rush that I wish I kind of wasn't. I'm crashing and I probably shouldn't have eaten that. But, let's learn from that, listen to our body and say, next time, we're not going to do this because we know that this causes that sugar rush where we crash and it's not serving me. So we let it go. So focus more on letting go of things that aren't working for you, grabbing hold of things that are fulfilling you, and don't beat yourself up in the process. The last tip is really more of a reminder. I touched on it earlier, but for eating mindfully, you really must eat slowly. I know for me, I am someone that tends to inhale my food. I eat very quickly and I tend to look up and realize that everyone else is still eating and I'm done. I'm that person. So I have to work on eating slowly as well. And if you're someone that speed eats, you gotta slow down. That's part of the mindfulness. Really taking time to enjoy the food, to give your body a chance really to give you the full signals. That's part of listening. You gotta go a little slower so that you can hear your body saying, I'm hungry, I'm hungry. And you say, okay, are you bored? Are you thirsty? Are you stressed out? No, okay, you're actually hungry. All right, and you sit down and you eat slowly so that when your body starts saying, I'm full, that's enough. This is a bit heavier than I thought. This is really rich. you can stop and you can take control of the situation before you've inhaled everything and now you just feel kind of yucky. I don't know about you, but for me, when I used to work in an office and I had a short lunch break, that would happen a lot. You kind of wolf down your food and then you go sit back at your desk and you just feel horrible. Take your time. That way you have time to properly digest, and you can be aware of your experience of eating, how the food's affecting you, and if you're full sooner or later, or you need a little something extra, you didn't pack enough lunch, you can be aware of things instead of going so fast that you're not really enjoying the experience, enjoying the meal, and getting the full benefit of it. So this was a really quick introduction to mindful eating, but if you liked this video, definitely give it a thumbs up for me and leave a comment below if you have any questions, or if you're interested in hearing more about mindful eating. We can definitely take this a lot further, go a lot of different directions with it, but I'd love to hear from you guys and make sure that I'm giving you the content that you want. So I want to thank each and every one of you for watching this video. I hope that this was a great crash course introduction into mindful eating, and that if you're already doing it, definitely leave some comments below with how it's affected your life. And if you want to give it a shot, I'd love to hear how it works for you. As always, I want to thank you all for watching. Thanks so much.